In this next chapter, we are going to learn more about quadratic equations. The quadratic equation is an equation whose highest term is x squared. The general form will be ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, whereby a cannot be 0. Do you think the following are quadratic equations? 2x plus 1 equals to 0. No, this is not quadratic equation because the highest power is not x squared. What about this? Yes, it's in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. And this, yes, it has a ax squared term and a c term, and hence it is a quadratic equation. What about this? Yes, the highest power here is x squared, and hence it is a quadratic equation. And this, I have an ax squared term and a bx term, and hence, yes, it is a quadratic equation. And this is definitely not a quadratic equation because the highest power here is x cubed. What about this? Although I have an ax squared term and a c term here, however, this is not a bx term, and hence this is not a quadratic equation. And this, now this does not seem like a quadratic equation. But what happens if we multiply x for every term? The first term will become 1. The second term will become x squared, and the right hand side term will become 2x. Is this a quadratic equation? Yes. And hence a quadratic equation is an equation which is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. In this part of the chapter, we are going to learn how to solve by factorization method. But first, let us look at the zero product property. The zero product property states that if a multiplied by b equals to 0, what do you think can be the value of a? And what do you think can be the value of b? Well, a can be 0 because anything multiplied by 0 will be equals to 0. And likewise, b can be equals to 0. Now, let's say we are asked to solve this equation. Using the zero product property, we have 2x minus 3 equals to 0 or x plus 2 equals to 0. To solve this, we will add 3 on both sides of the equation. To solve this, we will subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. By simplifying, we have 2x equals to 3 or x equals to negative 2. We have one more step to go for this part here. In order to find x, we have to divide by 2 on both sides, and hence x equals to 3 over 2. Let us look at another example. If we have this equation, it means that x can be equals to 0 or 5x plus 7 can be equals to 0. To solve this equation, let us subtract 7 on both sides, and hence 5x equals to negative 7. Finally, we have x equals to negative 7 over 5. So there are again two answers, x equals to 0 or x equals to negative 7 over 5. Now let us go one step further and try to solve a quadratic equation. In order to solve this quadratic equation, we have to factorize first. We shall use the cross-factorization method. Do you know which term will be here? Yes, it will be x squared. And what about this? Very good, it is 32. And finally, this will be negative 12x. Now, what's multiplied by what will give you x squared? X multiplied by x. Now, which two numbers multiplied together will give you 32? Well, I can try 1 and 32, 2 and 16, 4 and 8. Now, let's try 8 and 4 here. We will multiply x by 4 and we will have 4x here. We multiply x by 8 and we will have 8x here. Now, in order to get negative 12x, Where should I put the negative sign? On top, below, both on top and below, or none of the term? Yes, I should put on both on top and below, so that when I add them up, I will have negative 12x. And since this is negative, this will also be negative. This is negative, the 4 will also be negative. And hence, by factorizing, we will have x minus 8 multiplied by x minus 4. We will read it this way, x minus 8 multiplied by x minus 4. Using the zero product rule that we have learned earlier, we know that x minus 8 equals to 0 or x minus 4 equals to 0. We will plus 8 on both sides and we will plus 4 on both sides here. And hence we have x equals to 8 or x equals to 4. Now do remember to write the or, alright, because it is either this or this equals to 0. Now let's try to solve this using factorization as well. We will use the cross factorization method once more. Now in this case, we will have, yes, 6x squared here. And what is this term here? Yes, this is 10. What about this? This is 19x. Now we can have 6x and x or 3x and 2x. Now let's try 3x and 2x. For these two terms here, we can have 1 and 10 or 2 and 5. Now let's try 2 and 5. When we do a cross factorization, we will multiply it in this way, and hence we will have 15x here, and here we will have 4x. Now, which terms need to be negative in order to get 19x? Yes, none of them. So we will add 4 with 15, and hence we will have 19x. Since this is positive, this should also be positive. And this is positive, this will be positive as well. And again, remember, we will read it this way. 3x plus 2 multiplied by 2x plus 5 equals to 0. And do remember to write equals to 0 following the equations above. Using the zero product property, we have 3x plus 2 equals to 0 or 2x plus 5 equals to 0. Now let's solve this. We will minus 2 on both sides. To balance this, we will minus 5 on both sides. Hence we have 3x equals to negative 2 or 2x equals to negative 5. Dividing both sides by 3, we have x equals to negative 2 over 3. Dividing both sides by 2, we will have x equals to negative 5 over 2. Now, it is okay to write in improper fraction, mixed number, or in decimal. Now, let's look at another example here. By now, you should know which term we should put here, right? Yes, we should put the x squared term here. What about this? Yes, it will be the constant negative 66. And hence here, we will have negative 13x. Now, what number do you think we should try here? Yes, we can try either 4x and x or 2x and 2x. Now, let's try 4x and x. For 66, we can try 66 and 1, 2 and 33, 6 and 11. Why don't we try 11 and 6? Now, putting the 11 above and the 6 below is different from putting the 6 above and the 11 below. Now, let us try to multiply and see if we can get the answer. 4x multiplied by 6, x multiplied by 11. And hence here we have 24x and here we will have 11x. Can 11x and 24 give us negative 13x? Which of them should be negative? Now, if you're not sure, you should use the calculator to try whether you should put the negative above, below, both above and below, or we should leave these two terms as positive. Because this is negative 13x, we know that we should put this as negative. So that when 11x plus negative 24x, we will get negative 13x. Since this is negative, remember, the 6 will also become negative. And hence we will have, after factorizing, 4x plus 11 and x minus 6. Using the zero product property, we have 4x plus 11 equals to 0 or x minus 6 equals to 0. Subtracting 11 on both sides and adding 6 on both sides, we will have 4x equals to negative 11 or x equals to 6. And then now we will divide both sides by 4 to get x equals to negative 11 over 4. And hence we have solved this quadratic equation and we have two answers, x equals to negative 11 over 4 or x equals to 6. We have come to the end of this part of the chapter. In summary, in order to solve a quadratic equation like this, we can solve this using cross factorization. And using the zero product property, we will get the two answers here. And that's all for this part of the chapter.